There is a frustrating place many people find themselves in. You're working, you're trying, you're thinking about improving your life. You may even be consuming content about success, money, and growth. But despite all that effort, your situation barely changes. You're still stuck in the same financial position, still dealing with the same limitations, still feeling like you're capable of more, but somehow not moving forward. And after a while, it becomes confusing because you're not lazy, you're not completely careless, you want better. So why does nothing change? The uncomfortable truth is this: it's not just your circumstances that are keeping you stuck, it's your mindset. Not in the motivational, surface-level way people often talk about it, but in a deeper, more subtle way. The kind of mindset that quietly shapes your decisions, your habits, your reactions, and ultimately, your results. You don't notice it because it feels normal. It feels like reality. But in truth, it is a pattern you've learned, repeated, and reinforced over time. And until you see it clearly, you will keep repeating the same cycle. One of the most powerful parts of this mindset is how it makes you focus on survival instead of growth. When your thinking is centered around survival, your decisions become short-term. You think about what will get you through today, this week, or this month. You focus on paying bills, covering expenses, avoiding risks, and maintaining stability. On the surface, this seems responsible, and in some situations, it is necessary. But when survival becomes your default mode, it limits your ability to think beyond the present. You stop asking bigger questions. You stop exploring opportunities. You stop taking calculated risks that could change your life. Instead, you stay in a loop of maintaining rather than building. And that loop keeps you exactly where you are. Another part of this mindset is the belief that money is scarce and difficult to access. You may not say it out loud, but it shows up in how you think. You believe opportunities are limited. You believe success is reserved for a select few. You believe that making more money is extremely difficult, and that people who have it are somehow different from you. This belief affects how you act. You hesitate to try new things. You doubt your ability to create value. You settle for less because you don't truly believe more is possible for you. But here's the reality. The world is full of opportunities. Not all of them are obvious. Not all of them are easy, but they exist. The difference is not just in access, it's in perception. People who grow financially train themselves to see possibilities where others see limitations. They look at problems and think, how can I solve this and create value? Instead of thinking this is too hard or this is not for me. That shift alone changes everything. Another hidden pattern that keeps people broke and stuck is the habit of consuming more than they create. It's easy to spend hours watching videos, scrolling through content, learning new ideas, and feeling like you're improving. But if all you do is consume, nothing changes. Real growth happens when you take what you learn and apply it. When you create something. When you build, test, fail, and adjust. But creation is uncomfortable. It requires effort. It exposes you to failure. So many people stay in the safe zone of consumption, and while they feel busy, they are not progressing. Then there's the fear of starting small. Many people want big results, big money, big success, but they underestimate the importance of small beginnings. They look at where they are and where they want to be, and the gap feels overwhelming. So instead of starting small and building momentum, they wait. They wait for the perfect idea, the perfect moment, the perfect conditions. And while they wait, nothing changes. People who move forward understand something simple but powerful. Small actions repeated consistently create big results over time. But that requires patience. And patience is something the stuck mindset struggles with. It wants immediate results, quick wins, fast success. And when that doesn't happen, it loses motivation. Another major factor is the way you view risk. If your mindset is wired to avoid risk at all costs, you will miss opportunities that require courage. Every meaningful step forward in life involves some level of uncertainty. Starting a business, learning a new skill, changing your environment, investing your time and energy into something that may not work immediately. If you see risk as something purely negative, you will always choose safety. And while safety protects you from failure, it also protects you from growth. The people who improve their lives are not reckless. They don't take blind risks. but they are willing to step into uncertainty when the potential reward is worth it. They understand that staying stuck is also a risk, a silent one, but a real one. Then there is the habit of blaming external factors. It's easy to say the economy is bad, opportunities are limited, the system is unfair, other people have advantages you don't, and sometimes these things are true. But focusing on what you cannot control takes away your power. It keeps you in a position of waiting for conditions to improve, waiting for someone to help you, waiting for something outside of you to change. But growth begins when you shift your focus to what you can control. Your skills, your habits, your decisions, your effort. Even in difficult environments, there are people who find ways to improve their situation, not because their circumstances are perfect, but because their mindset is different. Another silent trap is the desire to appear successful instead of becoming successful. Spending money to look good, to impress others, to maintain an image. This mindset keeps you focused on validation rather than progress. You invest in appearances instead of assets, and over time, that drains your resources without building anything meaningful. People who grow financially often do the opposite. They focus on building first. They delay gratification. They make decisions based on long-term value, not short-term approval. Then there's discipline, not the extreme, unrealistic version people talk about online, but the simple, consistent ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Without discipline, even the best ideas remain ideas. Without discipline, consistency breaks. Without discipline, progress becomes random. And when progress is random, results are unpredictable. Finally, there is the way you see yourself, your identity. If deep down you see yourself as someone who struggles, someone who is always behind, someone who cannot achieve more, that belief will influence everything you do. You will hesitate, you will doubt, you will avoid opportunities, not because you are incapable, but because you don't see yourself as capable. Changing your financial situation requires more than external action. It requires internal transformation. You have to begin seeing yourself differently, as someone who can learn, grow, and improve, as someone who can create value, as someone who can change their situation over time. This is not about overnight success. It's about gradual, consistent change. Shifting your mindset from survival to growth, from limitation to possibility, from consumption to creation. And once that shift begins, everything else starts to follow. Your decisions improve, your habits align, your actions become more intentional, and slowly, your results begin to change. If this made you reflect, if you saw parts of yourself in this, then you're already taking the first step, awareness. But don't stop there. Subscribe to the channel for more insights on mindset, money, discipline, and personal growth. Because the next idea you learn might be the one that finally breaks the cycle. And trust me, you don't want to stay stuck.